Hi everyone, welcome to this channel. Today we are going to see Introduction and Failure Types of chapter Crash Recovery. What is crash recovery? Before understanding the concept of crash recovery, let us understand what is the meaning of crash. So here, a crash is the sudden failure of a software application or operating system or of a hardware device such as a hard disk. So basically this means what? A type of failure, any type of failure in system is called as crash. Okay? An important feature of conventional database system is the ability to recover from system crashes. Recovery means restoring data into its previous state before the incident. Database recovery is the process of restoring the database to a correct, consistent state in the event of a failure. In other words, it is the process of restoring the database to the most recent consistent state that exists state shortly before the time of system failure. Recovery is required to protect the database from data inconsistencies and data loss. Transactions or unit of work against a database can be interrupted unexpectedly. If a failure occurs before all of the changes that are part of the unit of work are completed, committed, and returned to the disk, then the database is left in an inconsistent and unstable state. So overall here it is telling what? Crash meaning is nothing but any type of failure in the system, right? And we need to recover from the crash because the database must be in the consistent state. Okay, the database must be in the consistent state in the event of a failure, right? For that reason, we are recovering from the crash. Okay, so this is what the concept of crash recovery. So what is crash recovery? Crash recovery is the process by which the database is moved back to a consistent and usable state. This is done by rolling back incomplete transactions and completing committed transactions that were still in memory when the crash occurred. Okay? So basically this is how it is done, how the crash recovery is done. It is done by rolling back, okay? Rolling back incomplete transaction. I have already explained you the meaning of rolling back. Means what? Whatever changes that particular transactions made before the failure, all the changes are made invisible. Okay, are made invisible. Nothing is changed in that particular transaction. Okay, and completing committed transactions. Okay, the transactions which have fired commit instruction have to be completed. Right. So this is what? Crash recovery. Now let us understand the types of failures. Okay, that's why I have written here failure classification. Since we are studying what crash recovery, so that reason we must also understand what can be the types of failures. Okay, to see where the problem has occurred, we generalize a failure into various categories as follows. Very first one is transaction failure. Okay, now here a transaction has to abort when it fails to execute or when it reaches a point from where it cannot go any further. When only a few transactions or processes are harmed, this is referred to as transaction failure. Right? So basically here this can happen due to some reason transaction get fails. Okay? And the reasons can be like this. Reasons for a transaction failure could be, very first one is what? Logical errors, okay? Where a transaction cannot complete because it has some code error or any internal error condition. Like we are giving any bad input, like the number is divided by 0. Is it true? Can we divide the number by 0? No. So this is what called as logical error. Next is what? System errors, where the database system itself terminates an active transaction because the DBMS is not able to execute it. or it has to stop because of some system condition. The very best example here is nothing but, here we can say, when a system is in deadlock or resource unavailability, the system aborts an active transaction. Okay, due to the less of the resources or the unavailability of the resources, the system aborts an active transaction. So this is what the system error. Next, system crash. There are problems external to the system that may cause the system to stop abruptly and cause the system to crash. For example, interruptions in power supply may cause the failure of underlying hardware or software failure. Right? So this is what the system crash, or we can say entire system corrupts, like falling of water can happen, like when we are using laptop, if sometime water falls on the laptop, then the system totally collapses, right? So this is what the system crash, or sudden power supply problem comes, then this may lead to failure of underlying hardware or software, right? So this is what the system crash. Next is nothing but the disk failure. In early days of technology evolution, it was a common problem where hard disk drives or storage drives used to fail frequently. Disk failures include formation of bad sectors, unreachability to the disk head crash, or any other failure which destroys all or a part of disk storage. Okay, so this is what the disk failure. Thank you for watching this video.